Look at a lot of monks as your example. When they're sitting, they're not wasting time. They practice. Make it a habit. See Pra Ajahn A. Dhamma is not that difficult. If you're very resolute and determined to do it, it's not that hard. It depends on your determination. The Buddha had got enlightened in the human realm because human can achieve the full liberation from suffering. It's the best realm for practice. Human, it's a realm. It doesn't, as a human, you don't suffer too much and you don't have too much happiness. It's the existence form that is good. It shows you the three marks of existence really well. If you become some angel being, happiness is too constant. If you become a Brahma, you have too much peace. To see the sufferings, to see the sufferings of samsara, it's really hard. But if you are in the lower realms, it's really hard. It's just too much suffering. So much aversions in your will bring you a lot of burning, or you become like a Pesa being, or become some special ghost that's just full of defilements. The mind is just not easy, not ready for practice. So the fact that you become a human, it's one of the best gifts you can get. Especially you were born during the time where Dhamma still exists. So let go. Don't waste this opportune time. It's a golden time. You cannot invite the rest of the world to practice. So if you are privileged enough to meet with the masters, to be near Buddhism, to get a chance to listen to Dhamma, it's all up to you whether you will practice and implement for yourself to reach peace, true peace and happiness. If you stay in the world for so long, I lived in the world for so long, as I get older, there is no single moment in my life that the world isn't full of hectic problems. There's always wars, there's always the bigger fish eating the smaller fish. It's the nature of animals. Humans without any morality are not better than other animals. This is the nature. Please hold on. The reception is missing. When power, so in the previous time, the military had power, and then after some time, the richest had the power. The world is like this. So in this world, there has never been a time when it's free from abuses and, taking advantages of others. The people in power always take advantage of the others. We are a part of it. Thailand is a part of it. We are a part of it. We are just like a pawn within this big game. So the world has never been peaceful. In Thailand, when I was young, that's when a lot of mafia were ruling the country. They're always throwing like mini bombs. The country was never peaceful time. There were a lot of arsonists just to get insurance money. So it's always about fighting for powers. Among politicians, sometimes they bring out people so then they will sacrifice their lives for their power. But the leaders never sacrifice their lives. So people are always like this. So nowadays, they just fool the kids. So the kids would go to jail. So that's the truth of the world. It's dirty because defilements rule the world. 40 years ago, the masters used to warn us. So he looked at it, he could see that, a lot of creatures coming up from hell. It's about time. Now they've grown up, they have power, they have a lot of ability to influence. So if you were hoping that the country would be, ruled by good people, it's always going to be about abuses. So back from 40 years ago, so be diligent at your practice. You cannot survive among them. What did the master mean by we? They meant Buddhism. So you better practice well enough to stay in the heaven for a while. So if you practice and you are a good moral person, you fear and dread all these bad doings, you are afraid of the consequences of your bad actions. So you are like your mind has the divine morality. So if you are a human who has the divine morality, you refrain from doing bad, you fear and dread wrongdoing. Your mind will be in a higher level, and you don't have to worry about not having oil to use. Don't have to worry about that. So the master taught us since 40 years ago. So I was always diligent at my practice. When I practiced, I didn't hope for being in the divine realms, in the heavens. I was just thinking about being liberated from suffering in this lifetime, not in the next lifetime. I was so resolute. I looked around. The world is always chaotic. Thailand is full of chaotic. It's never truly peaceful. They're always fighting for power, and people become the excuses. Children become the excuses, and they bring out the children. You look at this world, it's not peaceful, it's not nice. And I don't think that we have to become a divine being. So there's no need to wait. It's a waste of time. You can live in this world without too much suffering, without too long suffering, while still a lay person in this lifetime. There is no need for you to wait to become a divine being in next lifetime and then have happiness. If you believe that you do all the good deeds and then you be born in a good place, that's not clever. Why should you suffer for so long? For many more years. You can develop yourself right now at this moment to get the peace, calm, happiness while still alive. You can do that. Because Buddha had already shown us the way. All these sufferings from your mind and the sufferings of your body, they are different things. The sufferings in your body, it's subject to your previous karma and good and the deeds you've done in the past, so then it gives you this current body. So human body will last some time. Sometimes you're strong, sometimes you're healthy, sometimes you're not. It's subject to whatever you've done in the past. Whether you're healthy or unhealthy, beautiful or not beautiful, at the end of the day, we end up at the same place. We all have to age and get sick and die. Some people say that's not true. Some little baby, just one moment they were born and then the moment they die. So if they're 1 day old, they already 1 day old. It's 1 day closer to their death. So the condition of our human physical body, it has limitations. Maximum we would live up to 100 years old. Either you're sick or you just die. You can just drop dead any moment. My mother passed in December. She was over 100 years old. She didn't get sick or anything. It's just like a ripe fruit. That's just the nature of human body. No matter how nice, how beautiful, we cannot escape the aging, the sickness, or death. However, the sufferings of the mind can be liberated today, nowadays. The sufferings of the mind, it's caused by the clinging. Because we hold on to that this is the body that belongs to us, this is our family, this is our property, this is our asset. However, everything else is subject to the 3 characteristics. Nothing is permanent. As if you lose them or they disappear, you suffer because you want things that you like to be with you forever, and you want all the things you dislike to disappear. So these clinging, because you believe that this is us, this is ours, if you hold on to this, behind all this clinging is the desire, is the craving. So once you have the desire, you start to grasp different things that they belong to us. And then you start to struggle, you start to fight to have them, and you try to maintain them. So the struggling of this suffering, so it starts to grasp these sense doors, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your body, your mind. So that's a connector to the world. The fact that the mind grasps the sense doors, it's the birth. And that moment, you have this grasping of the sense doors, the birth, you're going to have suffering. This is in detail. It's really hard to understand until you see it. Just to summarize this briefly, to have an easy understanding. Every moment you have any desire or saving, you're going to start to struggle. And the moment the mind start to struggle, then you're going to have the sufferings. This is the dependent origination, briefly explained to you so then you would understand. So you observe from the reality, you see, you observe. Whatever that you desire, it doesn't truly exist. The desire not to age, it's impossible. Not to get sick, not to die, that's just, there's no such thing. You don't want to be parted ways from whatever you like. It's impossible. You want to just only experience whatever you like and you prefer. That's not possible. And you have any desire and you want to achieve them every time. That's just impossible. So the craving is the desire. Without the desire, you will not suffer. For example, you go after a girl, so then, you become a suitor, you have a strategy in order to own her until you get her. And then the desire to want to have her as a girlfriend, you may have a desire to get married to, and then you didn't have enough money yet, then you still suffer. You struggle until you get married. Once you get married, the desire to get married disappears. So it keeps fooling you to keep chasing it. And then eventually it disappears. And then you would just desire something else once you get this. So the desire of humans is endless. There is no end point. So that's why there are always conflicts and confrontations. It's endless. You always, have excuses from any ideologies, any special quotes, but it just comes down to animals that have defilement. The stronger ones would just rule over the weaker or less smart ones. So if you take a notice, whenever there's a desire, the suffering would always arise. So Buddha told us that the world is full of suffering. Sufferings from aging, from sickness, from dying, from being parted, from everything you love, from facing things that you don't like, facing from disappointment, facing all this sadness, sufferings from, illness, sickness, sufferings in the mind, all sorts of suffering. So the Buddha said the world is full of suffering. The Buddha is not a pessimist. The world is full of suffering. He didn't end there. That's a pessimistic person. But however, the Buddha taught us how to end these sufferings. He is not mentioning only the problems, he also told us the solution. A pessimist would just talk about problems but not solutions. So if you work in this world, if your staff comes to us, always present the problems, can never present any solution, you would consider these staff or these employees are below average, a subpar. If they can see problems, they're good enough at one level, they can identify and articulate the problems. However, if they know how to solve these problems, that's another level. So the Buddha was so wise and smart. So he had this special insight, he had this special vision, the supernatural vision. He could see that all these animals going through samsara, it's endless. Whenever there's there's birth, there's suffering. Even before he became Buddha, before the enlightenment. So he realized that even the divine realm is too full of suffering. In heaven, it's too full of sufferings whenever there is birth. Because there's always death. Even though you enjoy the life in the Brahma
ท่านเห็นสิ่งเหล่า
realms,
นี้นะท่านก็เลย
there's no, it's not
หาทาง
permanent. You
รู้
always
แล้ว
die
โล
from
กนี้
it.
มันทุกข์
So whenever that the world is full of
นี่จะดับทุก
suffering,
ข์ได้ยังไง
how
ความ
do
ต้อง
you
การดับ
end
ทุก
it?
ข์เนี่ยเป็นโจท
How
ย์
do you cease it?
ที่
How
ท่าน
you
เศรษฐิ
terminate the
แสวงหา
suffering? That's the question
ที่
that
ท่าน
Prince
เศรษฐิ
Siddhartha was
ก็มองเห็น
seeking.
ความทุกข์ของความแก่ความเจ็บ
First,
ความตายอันนี้
Prince
ไม่ใช่ความ
Siddhartha
พื้น
saw
ที่ท่าน
the
เห็นนะ
sufferings from birth,
เรียกเห็นเท
aging,
วทูต
sickness,
เห็น
and
คน
death.
แก่เห็นคนเจ็บ
He
เห็นคนตา
saw
ย
dying
แล้ว
people
ก็เห็นสมณะ
suffer,
นักบวช
and
เลยคิดว่า
he
กา
would
รเห็นสม
see
ณะเนี่ยน่าจะคนพบวิธีพ้นทุกข์ได้ท่านก็เลยออกมาบวช บวชเพื่อ
so
อะไรเพื่อจะ
once
ได้
he
หาทาง
see
พ้นทุกข์จากความแก่ความเจ็บความตายแล้วท่านก็ลงมือปฏิบัติไปเรื่อยๆไปเรียนกับฤา
Samana,
ษี
and then he
ฤา
thought
ษี
that
ก็
that's
ส
the
อน
way
เข้า
to go.
ฌาน
He left the
แล้วหลัง
palace
เข้า
and
ฌา
he
น
started
ก็ไม่
to
ทุกข์
study with
พอ
some
ออกจาก
hermits
ฌาน
and
มาก็
he
ทุกข์เหมือนเดิ
achieved
ม
jhanas.
เพ
Even
ราะ
though
ท่าน
it's
ก็
free
รู้
from
นะว่า
suffering during he was
การเข้าฌานไปก็ไม่ได้
in
แก้ปัญ
the
หาจริง
jhana, once he
มัน
came
คล้
out,
ายๆกั
he
นเรื่อ
still
งปัญ
faced
หาชั่ว
suffering.
คราวเท่านั้น
It's
นะสุ
like
ดท้ายก็กลับมา
problem
ทุกข์เหมือนเดิม
avoidance temporarily,
ท่าน
but
ก็
you
ออก
come
สู่เดิ
back
นทาง
to
ด้วยตนเอง
suffer
ที่แรกก็ไปทร
again,
มาน
and
กา
then
ยอะไรต่ออะไร
you go out and
สุดท้าย
try
ก็ได้พบ
to,
ทางสายก
he
ลาง
went out and tried to
ไป
find the
สุดโต่
way.
งไปข้างตรง
Started
ใจ
from
ใครแล้วก็
torturing
ไม่
and
ก
you
ด
know
ข่ม
and they surrendered to
ทำ
all
กาย
the
ทำใจของ
defilements
ตัวเอง
and
ให้
then he
ลำบาก
tried different
นะ
things
เดินอยู่ในทางสายกลาง
and he found that only the
และ
me
สติปัญ
the
ญาก็
middle
เกิด
way
นะ
that's the only
ใจ
way
ก็
then
จะ
that's
มีควา
when
มส
his
งบมี
wisdom
ปัญญา
arrived and then once he
ท่าน
became
ก็รู้
really
อย่างหนึ่ง
calm
ว่า
and
ถ้าเรา
peaceful
จะ
and
ดับ
then he
ตัวทุกข์
started
เนี่ย
to have the wisdom
เราต้องดับ
in
ที่
order
เหตุแห่ง
to
ทุกข์
end the suffering.
ไม่
See,
มีใคร
we
ดับ
have
ทุ
to
กข์ได้
end
เลย
the cause of suffering. No
ที่เรา
one
ดับได้
could
คือเห
stop
ตุ
the
ของทุกข์
suffering.
เพราะงั้นท่านไม่ได้สอนให้
You
เราดับทุกข์
you can
ท่าน
end the
สอนให้
cause
เรา
of
รู้ทุกข์
suffering.
แล้ว
It's
ก็
not
ละเหตุ
about
ของทุกข์
ceasing the
ในกระบวน
sufferings.
กา
It's
รที่
about ceasing
มี
the
ทุกข์เกิด
cause of
ขึ้นแล้วให้ละ
suffering.
ที่เหตุเนี่ย
The process
มันเป็น
of
กล
having
ไกแห่งกรรมธรร
sufferings,
ม
you
ชาตินะ
have to work the cause of
อย่างเวลา
sufferings. That's
ไฟ
the
มันไหม้
natural
อะ
cause. For
ถามว่าเว
example,
ลา
when
ไฟ
there
ไหม้
is
แล้วทำไง
fire,
เอาน้ำไป
what
ดั
do
บ
you
ไฟ
do?
เนี่ย
You bring
รู้สึกไหม
water
เรา
to
เอาน้ำไป
stop
ดั
the
บไฟ
fire, to cease the
ที่จริง
fire.
เราไม่ได้เอาน้ำไปดับไฟนะ
No, you're actually not
เรา
bringing
เอาน้ำไป
water to
ล
stop
ด
the
ไอ้
fire.
ที่มันไฟไหม้
You
อยู่อะ
pour
เอาน้ำไป
water
ราดเพื่อลดอุณห
to
ภูมิ
the sources of fire
อุ
in
ณห
order
ภูมิ
to
สูงอะ
reduce the
ก็เป็นปัจจัยอัน
temperature.
หนึ่งให้ไฟ
The
ไหม้
higher temperature is
พอ
one
อุ
of
ณห
the
ภูมิมัน
factors
ต่ำล
that
งไฟมัน
causes
ก็
the
ดับ
fire.
ไฟมั
Once
น
the
ดับเพราะอะไร
temperature is
เพราะเหตุของ
reduced,
มัน
the
ดับ
fire would
หรือ
stop.
หรือ
Why does the fire
มัน
stop?
มีเชื้อ
Because
เพลิ
the
ง
cause of
นะ
fire was
มี
stopped.
ปัจจัยที่ทำให้เกิดไฟ
Or
ไหม้
there is
นะก็มี
fuel.
เชื้อเพลิง
So, okay, what are the
นะ
factors of
มี
that
ออก
causes
ซิเจน
fire?
มีการ
There
ส่ง
is
ดาว
the
มีการจุด
fuel,
ประกาย
there is
ความร้อน
oxygen,
ขึ้นมา
there's ignition,
เวลาดับเพ
and
ลิ
there's
งอะ
temperature
ไม่มีใครดับไฟ
rising.
แต่ว่าดับเหตุของ
So
ไฟ
when
ทั้ง
you
สิ้น
want to cease the fire, you have to
อย่างออ
stop
ก
the
ซิเจน
cause
มัน
of
มีรถ
fire.
ไฟไหม้รถย
For
นต์เนี่ยเอา
example,
โฟมไปฉีด
oxygen is part of
ออก
it.
ซิเจนเข้าไป
If
ตรง
there's
ที่
a
ไฟไหม้
car,
ไม่ได้
you
ไฟ
just
ก็ดับ
spray all the foam to
นะ
surround
เมื่
this
อไฟไหม้
engine
บ้าน
that is
เรา
on
เดิน
fire.
เรื่อยๆนะรื้อบ้าน
Once
ไป
the
สักหลัง
oxygen
สองหลัง
cannot get in,
ให้มันขาดช่วง
the fire
ไม่
stops.
มีเชื้อเพลิง
If
ไฟ
there
มันก็
is
ดับ
fire that's
เพราะ
going
งั้น
on
แต่
the
ท่านอยู่ใน
townhomes,
โลก
then
นะ
you
ที่เรา
can
ดับ
just
ได้จริง
cool
ๆอะ
down,
เรา
put
ดับเหตุ
water on one
เราไม่ได้ดับ
home
ผล
just to stop the fire
เรา
from
ดับเห
spreading
ตุนะ
further.
ไม่ได้ดับผ
So
ล
you can
งั้
actually
นท่าน
only
ใช้สันนิ
handle
ษ
the
ฐานนะ
causes,
ท่านปัญญาสูง
not
พวก
the
เราแค่ไฟไหม้
consequences,
เรา
not
ยัง
the
คิดว่าเราดั
result.
บไฟเลยนะ
So
เนี่ยสติ
for
ปัญญา
people
ของ
like
เราระ
us,
ดับนี้
we see fire, we
ไม่
thought
ใช่
we're
สิทธัต
stopping
ถะ
the
ท่านมีบรร
fire.
ลุนะ
However, Prince
ความทุกข์
Siddhartha,
นั้น
he
มันละ
saw
ไม่
this.
ได้
Sufferings
ให้เรา
cannot
รู้
be abandoned.
ทุกข์ให้
We
รู้
just need to become
ละจากอะไร
aware.
ละที่เหตุ
And then what do
ทุกข์
you
ให้รู้ก็คือ
have
เรา
to
ต้องรู้
do?
ว่า
You
เรามีปัญ
have
หา
to
อะไรนะ
cease the causes
ชีวิต
of
เรา
it.
มีปัญหาข
You
อง
have
ควา
to
มแก่ควา
terminate
ม
the
เจ็บ
causes
ความ
of
ตาย
it.
ความพลัดพรากจาก
The
สิ่งที่รัก
causes
การ
of
ประสบสิ่ง
sufferings,
ที่
what
ไม่
are
รักความ
they?
ไม่สมปรารถนาเนี่ยชีวิตเรามีความทุกข์อย่างนี้
So we suffer
เรา
from
จะไป
death, from
แก้
aging,
ไม่ให้
from,
แก่
you
ไม่ให้
know,
เจ็บไม่ให้ตายไม่ให้
facing
พลัด
things
พ
you
ราก
don't
จาก
like.
สิ่งที่
You
รัก
cannot cause,
ให้เจอแต่
you
สิ่งที่
cannot
ไม่
bring
สมปรารถ
happiness
นาทุ
by
กอย่าง
bringing only
มันแก้ไม่ได้ มันทำไม่ได้จริง
eternal life and that sort of thing.
ท่า
That's
นเลยสอนให้
impossible,
เราแก้
right?
ที่ต้นเหตุ
So the way you fix
ต้น
this,
เหตุ
you
ที่ใจ
have to
เรา
go
ทุ
to
กข์
the
กาย
root
นั้น
cause.
แก้ไม่ได้แล้ว
The
เกิ
root
ดมา
cause
ยัง
that
ไง
the
ทุกข์
mind suffers
นะ
because
มีวิ
once
บา
you
ก
have the body,
เกิ
you
ดมามี
always
อัตภาพร่าง
suffer.
กายอย่างนี้
You always have to
ยี
be
นเรา
subject to
โครโม
whatever
โซ
you
มอะไร
have. The
กำหนดบอกอย่าง
genetics,
เงี้ย
the
อา
chromosomes
ยุเท่า
already
นี้จะต้องเป็นอย่างนี้
determine
เป็
that
นมะเร็ง
you're
เป็น
gonna
นู่นเป็
have
น
this
นี้เบา
situation
หวา
at
นอะไร
that
เงี้ย
age. cancer, diabetes, this is the old actions, the old deeds would bring you these body in this lifetime. This cannot be fixed. The things that the Buddha had taught us to fix is the sufferings of the mind. How do you fix the sufferings of the mind that is aging? How do you fix the mind that is suffering? How do you fix this? When you part ways from the loved one, when you face things that we don't like, how do we fix it? He would teach you to fix it. Fixing the mind. Once you know it, so the sufferings of the body, you have to leave it that way. But the mind exists, you fix the part that you can fix. So this is a very in-depth analysis. The workings, when you do the work in real life, you have to see what can be fixed and what cannot be fixed at that moment. The one that can be fixed, you fix it first. The sufferings of the mind, he sees that it can be fixed, and he analyzes it. What is the cause of suffering? He realized that it's the cravings. Whenever there's a cravings, there is desire. That's the cause of suffering. Because the desire, whatever we desire, it doesn't really exist. For example, you want to be beautiful and handsome, but if you don't look like that, you get plastic surgeries and still not really looking like the way you really want. You want to be permanently beautiful, that's also impossible. Some people are beautiful because they had a lot of good deeds from the past. And someone has been beautiful for a long time until she was 120 years old. That's Lady Visakha. If you hold the precepts well, next lifetime you have be beautiful. So in this lifetime you have to be a little patient. So now Lady Visakha would go with her children, grandchildren. They couldn't tell which one she was. All of them were so beautiful. They were so beautiful they couldn't tell. Once they were the only one who was trying to get up after the teaching was ending, because she had to get up with four legs, as in she had to use the arm to push her up. So when you have the good precepts, you'll be beautiful for a long time. I'm not joking. See, you look at you in this lifetime. If you hold the 5 precepts really well, your face will look good, and if you have good samadhi, your face will start brighten. You look prettier than the other people. So there's a newspaper used to broadcast and interview one lady how to preserve the beauty. Why are you so beautiful for a long time? You know what she said? She listened to Luangpu Pramote CD. My CD could bring you beauty. You will have the precepts and the samadhi, and then that's an incentive for you to hold on to the morality. Some people are beautiful would be mean and evil, then that's disgusting. So back to the Buddha. The Buddha sees that the desire would cause the struggling of the mind. Once the mind struggles, it has the burden, it becomes heavy, it becomes suffering. So in order to fix this, so you have to get rid of the cravings, the desire. How do we do that? It's easier said than done, but how do we do it? So in some schools, they feel that they know that the cravings you have to get rid of. The contemporaries of the Buddha, they understand that these causes. However, they didn't know the solution. They didn't know the Eightfold Noble Path. So they just thought they would not surrender to the cravings. If they're hungry, they don't eat. They thought that's the way of getting rid of the cravings. The Buddha said that's nonsensical because it's not the way. The wisdom was so deep, so he analyzed further. So the cravings, so I was gonna give you in a short version. Unless you see it, you will not see the conditional arising. Paticca is not easy to see. The cravings arises because you don't know the truth about life, that you don't accept and you don't understand that aging, dying, and death is just avoid. It's impossible. You don't understand the truth that you have to come to contact with something that is pleasant or unpleasant, something you like and you dislike. So you cannot choose to come to contact only with the things that you like. Only good sight, sound, or smell, or taste, or touches. These are impossible. The images or the sounds that come to contact with us, whether nice or not, is subject to the karma, the consequences of your previous deeds. If you practice for a while, two people walk down the road. One person might see ugly things. Another person would look around for ugly things. For example, some dead bodies of a dying person with the ugly sight. The other person tries to look around, would not see. They only see the beautiful flowers. If there's an accident on the road, you run on you sitting in the car, you wanna look away, you turn the other way. You thought you would avoid seeing it because you couldn't avoid it because they brought the bodies to the roadside already. Because your previous action, previous deeds caused you to see those images. If you can choose, you get to only see the beautiful things. So the desire arises from because you don't understand the truth about life. You don't understand the truth about the body. The body would always have to age, perhaps to get sick and die. You don't understand the truth about the mind, that you're going to come to contact with good and bad things because of the good or bad deeds from the past. So he taught us it's not about getting rid of the cravings itself. He go deeper. He would go deeper. What is the cause of the craving? It's about the lack of knowledge. That about the truth. So it is actually is the ignorance that you don't understand. So how do we fix this ignorance? You have to understand the true nature of all the phenomena. So how do you understand the truth of the body and mind? He cannot just say that you have to understand the truth of the body and mind. That's just too simplistic. And first he discussed problems, he discussed the cause, he mentioned the solution, and then he would teach us how to. We can say a lot of problems. There are problems, many other people see the problem. He had the insight of the cause of the problems, and he taught further to fix the misunderstanding, the ignorance about the truth in life. You have to practice mindfulness, and you need to do the mindfulness practice. If he just say that the mindfulness practice and end it there, then that's not enough. Then he taught further about how to practice the mindfulness. So then you need to do the foundations of mindfulness. So the foundations of mindfulness is the lessons that you need to study, to practice and learn. So the core idea is the practice is to be mindful of the body and mind as they really are, with a stable and impartial mind. So, if you could see this truth, it will come to contact with good and bad things. Happiness or unhappiness would arise. That's natural, that's normal. If you can accept this truth, the mind would not waver. The mind will understand and will be unwavering by these contacts that come to us from the world. Once you do enough of this, you can do the insight development. You see the truth of the sufferings of the body and the mind. And then you'll be able to get rid of these cravings. You have this naive craving. So once you get rid of the craving, the struggling of the mind, the clinging of the mind will no longer be there, and then your mind will achieve the true peace. You achieve nibbana. It's the true peace. It's happy and peaceful, abundance of happiness. So the problems is the suffering. You see, the cause of suffering is the craving. The cause of suffering is caused because of your ignorance. You don't understand the truth of the life, of your life. And how do you do that? You have to do the mindfulness practice. And how do you do this? You need to be having the mindfulness of the body and mind as they really are. So then you need two tools. You need two things. That's the correct mindfulness and then also the correct samadhi. So once you practice the foundations of mindfulness, you get the correct mindfulness, and then as you get more and more of this, you get the correct samadhi. You get the stable observer to see things constantly, to observe things with a stability and impartial mind, and you just get the wisdom. So this process, normal human person, is so hard for human to achieve. Even Einstein can achieve it. They can understand quantum physics, but the truth of their mind is the wisdom of the Buddha. Once you practice, you will love Buddha so much. Once I think about the Buddha, every time I have this joy, I would just have these goosebumps and I have this joy and rapture, and then I can always, tears always coming down every time. But the Buddha never just taught this. By teaching the foundations of mindfulness, what are the tools? You need some tools in order to do this. So first, you need a home base as your practice. For your practice, you need a meditation, your mindfulness object, and then you have the awareness, the self-awareness, and then you have the mindfulness. These are the tools that is required for the foundations of mindfulness. So the self-awareness that arises at these. So how do you make this happen? So for example, he teaches you to understand the body. It's not about anatomy, just like the doctors have to study in their training. Once you understand, it's like sampling the body. So you see the body breathing in, the body breathing out. You see the body breathing in is not us, the body breathing out is not us. There is body breathing in and out all day, and then you realize finally the body is the suffering. The body is just nothing. Breathing in is suffering, breathing out is suffering. You're breathing out because you need to escape from the suffering that you breathe in, and then you breathe in just to avoid the suffering that's caused from breathing out. So that you see that this is the body in the body. Another way of doing this, so you separate them into different parts. It's the 4 different postures. Standing, walking, sitting, lying down. If you see this just all day, it's one of these 4. And if you see that any one of these 4 is not us, you will see that the whole body is not us. You study some part of it, the subset of it, in order to fully understand the whole part of it. You see the body moving or the body staying still. You see both of them are suffering. You see the body moving is not us. If all of this is not us, you see some aspects of them, you fully understand the big picture. This is the sampling of the body in order to understand. The feeling, you can do the samplings of the feelings, the samplings of the mind. There are 127 kinds of the mind. There's no way for you to understand. A lot of them is just the transcendental mind already, or some of the mind of the Brahma, and we don't have. So then, so whatever that is still the worldly mind, is just, there are the wholesome and unwholesome parts. So then you just understand the mind that you have, you can observe. Even though there's so many kinds, the different kinds of them, there's no need for you to understand. You bring in one set, if you're an angry type, You see the angry type and non-angry type. If you're the greedy type, there's a greedy and non-greedy type. Greedy mind. The one that's always wander off, the mind that is absent and not absent. When the mind is scattered and not scattered, you see, when the mind is sluggish and stays still. The scattered mind and the sluggish mind are the opposite. You see these pairs, you see this. If you're the greedy kind, you have the desire one moment and non-desire one moment. There's just two kinds of mind. Having desire and not having desire. You have the angry and non-angry mind if you're the angry type. Keep observing this. This is the mind inside the mind. You see that everything is impermanent. It's not us. This is the approach that you need to study. The feelings in feelings. And then once you understand this, when you're mindful of it, so then be mindful of this. So he clearly explained how to further. So how does mindfulness, the self-awareness arise often? It's come from the familiarity. For example, when you see your siblings that you haven't seen for ages, you don't have the familiarity with it. It's something. But the guy who's like sell something in front of your house, you see every day, you see the person in Chiang Mai, you recognize them. But siblings you haven't seen for decades, you may not recognize them. So when you see something that is constantly you recognize them, you start to cognize them. If you see the anger and non-anger often, and after a while you become familiar, you have this recognition, you can recognize it. So when you see a monk coming, there's a gecko saying, whose mind is not scattered. So the gecko just said hi to us. Your mind wanders off already. Okay, back to your study. How to get the mindfulness. When you see the phenomena frequently, so to do the foundations of mindfulness, you need to observe the phenomena often. It's not about non-stop. It's only about as much as you could. It's not about all the time. When I started it, I'm an angry type. So I get angry, I get irritated, I get bored. I saw that it was arising. I felt I could observe it, see the anger and see this appears. I see these frequently. Once you get one, you start to see other things pretty easily. Pick one, angry and not angry, and after a while you see desire, greedy or not greedy, it will become easy. So become familiar, so then you could familiar with one phenomena and then become familiar with it, and you start to recognize it every time. When you have correct mindfulness often, you're going to get correct samadhi. There are two ways. The one that starts with samadhi leading wisdom, it's really hard because you guys have short attention. So the moment you have angry, that you become aware of the anger, the mind becomes upright and stable, and then the mind escapes to think, then the thoughts disappear, then the mind becomes aware of it, and you get the correct samadhi, that momentary samadhi. Then if you do it often, you become mindfulness often. When you have the correct mindfulness, you're going to get the correct samadhi. And the more often you have this, you're going to get more stable observer in order to see this. So keep practicing this until you start to see your object of meditation, and then when you have this often, you're going to have the correct samadhi. It will bring you the insight. Okay.
เอาว่าศาสนา
Buddhism, that's not Buddhism. The religions that are not Buddhism, they talk about faith, they believe, they have comfort in their mind. It brings comfort, happiness to your mind, can bring peace, can allow you to feel not fear death because you feel that you'll be with God. However, Buddhism would teach you to be free from this world, to see that the world is nonsense. It's very detailed. He talks about the suffering, the cause of suffering, which is the cravings. It's because of ignorance, because you don't understand the truth about body and mind. How do you get rid of the ignorance? You need to do vipassana practice. So then you have to do the foundations of mindfulness in order to get the insight. You do the foundations of the practice, the foundations of mindfulness to get the mindfulness, and then you don't need to see everything, to some of them. So it's like doing some sampling in your research. So once you have mindfulness, you have the correct mindfulness, you have the correct samadhi. Once you have the correct samadhi, you have a stable observer. This stable observer could see that everything is subject to the three characteristics. Everything that comes will go. And then the more you see this, the mind will start to accept the truth. Whatever that arises will disappear. And nothing is beyond suffering that arises and disappears. And you start to see the truth and can accept it, then when you see whatever that arises will always falls away. And you should see further, there's nothing else beyond suffering. Once you truly see this, there's nothing else beyond suffering, then you become an arahant. Once you could see all this, there will no longer be any desire. You see everything that arises, you no longer worry about anything. Everything is an illusion. You no longer want to not aging, not to get sick, not to die. There's no desire for those anymore. Once you understand the truth, the struggling of the mind will disappear. Once the mind no longer struggling, the mind will have no burden and no longer suffer. That's the path from the enlightenment. It's so beautiful. Everything has a cause and effect, has reasons for the entire path. So it's actually beneficial for us. This is the golden time. It's the best opportunity. Hold on to the 5 precepts and do your formal practice. Hold on to your meditation object and observe the mind. And then the correct samadhi will arise. As the mind moves and you become aware, and it moves the whole day. And if you become aware the whole day, you have the mindfulness the whole day. Every time it moves and you become aware, the mind will become a stable observer and you get more and more and improve samadhi. And then the aggregate will separate out and will just show to you that there's no us in there. So that's the wisdom. It will destroy the ignorance and the misconception that we have about this life. So, are these 5 aggregates, the body, the feelings, the mental formation, the perceptions, and the consciousness, they are not us. Once they separate out, then you see that not us in any of the 5 aggregates. And that's when you fully realize and understand that there's no us in there. And that's when you achieve the stream entry level. And you see all these suffering. And that's not us. That's when you let go of everything. And then you be the full liberation. And that's it for today. If you listen to this, I hope you love the Buddha more. There's no one else who can teach us like this except for the Buddha. I speak about the Buddha every time I have so much rapture, and then the tears coming down. Many times it's like I get the goosebumps every time. I get this joy. There's nothing greater than this. Teachings from the Buddha. There's no one greater than the Buddha. We are the student of the Buddha. Be diligent in your practice. You will no longer be just a student. You become the child of the Buddha. Everyone who achieved the stream entry level and beyond, he called them his children. Number 1. Every day I be mindful from morning, from waking to sleep, see the changes of the body and mind. I don't fabricate much. I become aware of the stable observer. Could you please provide guidance? If this is the path you see and you see the changes of the mind inside, as it changes, moves and sways back and forth, you see the workings of the mind, keep observing. Don't go too deep in. Observe at a distance as an outsider. If the mind goes, try to overfocus, then that's a mistake. Move back, step back, come back to the world. The life is actually stay outside. If you really good at the time when you do the sitting meditation, but if you cannot survive in the real world, that's hard. You're trying to make your mind still. Can you see? If you're making the mind still, just know so it's not wrong. Just become aware. If your mind likes to be there, then that's just trying to torture yourself, doing your practice in a superstitious way without the wisdom. You like it that it's still, and you see your movements inside, and then the mind just sways back and forth. It's like not truly still. Don't try to make it still. If you're controlling, just become mindful that you're controlling. The moment you come back to the world, see, come back to the world. Can you see the outside world quickly? Do it. See how fast you can do it. No, you cannot come out. Move out. Can you see at this moment there is some delusion there? A little bit of it is a little bit of like a dullness. So the correct samadhi, even though you're in jhana, you need mindfulness. Otherwise delusions will just come in. So that's the incorrect kind of samadhi. The mind's just awake, that it's just bright and cheerful. The mind that is dull and sluggish, you're not going to be able to cultivate wisdom. That's just for resting. So try to have mindfulness during the daily life. Try to get the mindfulness during daily life. Otherwise, you escape to stay inside and you stay with delusion. Number 2, you have a busy mind that's always absent. My formal practice, I do the chanting and observe the breathing and do the chanting of the praising of the three gems. Sometimes I'm lost, sometimes I'm over focusing. During the daily life, my mind's lost to merge with the object. I don't see the stable observer. Sometimes I'm lost in the past. I don't know how to do the wisdom cultivation properly yet. When the mind is either over focusing or it escapes, then you won't be able to do the wisdom cultivation. But if you become mindful of them, then you can start to do the insight development. When you pick a meditation object, just pick one. Don't choose too many things. Then your mind becomes scattered. If someone one master choose Bhutto, he will just keep sticking to Bhutto. He doesn't go anywhere else. The mind escapes, he knows. And the mind is focused, then he knows. Don't choose too many. Just have one home base for the mind. When you breathe, you breathe to see the body breathing, the mind is the body breathing, the mind is observing. The body breathing, mind is observing. Don't pick too many home bases. Pick 1 or 2 at most. The body breathing, the mind is observing. The mind moves. The body breathing, the mind observing. The mind has moved, become aware. The mind stay at the breath, become mindful.
ฝึกให้มันเด็ดเดี่ยวลงไปทำหลายอย่างแล้วมันจะสับสน
If you do too many things, you get confused. You can't get the calmness. Number 3, don't get stiff. You good. My Dhamma practice is walking more. Better. My samadhi is not gonna be stable, not very long. I feel the heart beating. Sometimes the heart beating so fast that the body is moving, and after a while the mind will move to think. If short, then I feel good. If it's lost for a long time, I feel annoyed. If it's too busy, I will use Bhutto together with my breathing. I see the mind over focus, happiness and unhappiness. What you do is good. Number 4.
ออกแป๊บหนึ่งขอถอนตรงนี้เพ่งไว้แล้วรู้สึกไหมมันเกร็งขึ้นมา
You know, you over focusing. No, that's not good anymore. Now you're doing this. This is incorrect. A good mind is a natural mind. A natural mind is a bright mind. It's a knowing mind. When you have a knower mind, when the mind is normal, it's ordinary. If there's anything that comes as something else, then you will see any alien objects that come in. But if the mind is still because it's still on its own, then that's good. But if you're trying to make it still, then that's not good. You won't see anything. It's not comfortable. What you do is good. Number 4. During my daily life, it's during my driving to work and back, and listen to your YouTube. I would just practice during the daily life. When I become aware, I would be lost after listening Dhamma. Sometimes I become mindful after almost a full day. I become mindful during the lifetime much more. Sometimes I feel really stupid. Sometimes I feel like I cannot do anything and feel so confused. I don't know whether I do it right or not. Your wisdom is not little. You have a lot. But when you feel confused, just become aware that you're confused. Don't need to find answers. When you have a question, be brave. Just become aware that you have a question. No need to seek the question, the answers. And then the questioning mind will show you. And you see, once it ceases, the mind become upright, and you get the stable observer. What you do is good. It's normal. It will be lost for a long time. As you practice further, you become mindful more often. What you do is good. Continue. Don't abandon your body. The mind is still outside. Be mindful of the body. Number 5. If you're stressful, become mindful. Observe the body. I observe the mind mainly. I could see the impermanence. There's so many phenomena arise, and then it arises and falls away. There is one constant feeling that the mind is just free from the clinging to all the contact. The mind is outside right now. Can you tell? It's like broad outside. It stays broad outside. It gets so comfortable. You will not be able to do the inside development. Have the mind staying with yourself. Don't send the mind out. Become mindful of inside.
คอยรู้สึกอยู่ที่ร่างกายตัวเองไว้จิตมันจะกลับมานะ
Come back to the body so that the mind will come back. If the mind stay outside, you see this and that, then that's not the inside development.
รู้สึกที่กายนะเบอร์ 5
Number 5, come back to your body because the mind is outside.
เบอร์ 6 ไม่มีปัญหานะ
Number 6, you have no problems. What you do is good. What you do is good. I do walking meditation and sitting meditation about 30 to 60 minutes each day. I feel that I overfocus and then I'll be lost in my thoughts for a long time. Sometimes I have a lot of questions about my practice. I don't know whether I do it right. During the day, I try to be mindful frequently. I can do it here and there. When my mind is lost, it's lost for a long time. When I'm angry, I get out of my anger very difficult. What you do is correct. You made a lot of progress. You have made good progress. But when you hold a principle, when you see anger, you need to see the anger, and there's an observer there. It's not about the objective is not to get rid of the anger. Separate out. What you do is good. Do it often, and then you'll be lost less, for a shorter time. What you do is good. That's right. So not over focusing, not just getting lost too much. Number 7. My practice, my former practice is the walking and sitting meditation for 2 hours per day. During my meditation, I would just consider all the good deeds I've done, and I get the joy and have the goosebumps. So during daytime, I would think about the wholesome actions and I get the goosebumps. I try to contemplate on the arises, the falls away of things. What you do is good. Your mind is too serious. Your mind is staying still too hard. Number 7, can you see that this is not an ordinary normal mind? A normal mind in the past, before you practice, that's a normal mind. Its light is agile, it changes naturally. If you practice and your mind is still stuck there, it's a waste of time. Let go. Can you try to let go this gathering that you do? Can you notice that there's like a little happiness arises? But if you're staying still, you feel indifferent. Let it work and be mindful. Except for when you need to rest, you can stay here. But if you, that's good. See? You have very good samadhi. Now the happiness would arise on its own without doing anything. This moment, the mind is lost. Can you see? Become mindful. See it with this the normal mind. Now you're gathering yourself, pulling it back again. You do it until it becomes a habit. If you do this, and you do the insight development in samadhi, it's still okay. But if you do this too much and get congested, the wisdom will not, the insight development will not happen. Well, what you do is good. At this level, and be mindful. See, observe, feel the body. You see, it's not us. And then the joy would arise. And the joy is not us. Whatever that's not us there, just keep observing from the aspect that this is not us, non-self. That's the aspect you need to observe. What you do is good. Come out more often and come to contact with objects more often. Then you do the insight development faster. Do too much samadhi would delay you. Too much contemplation would just make it busy. The heart of the practice is about being mindful during the daily life, because your daily life is the majority of the time. If you like to do this samadhi practice, and then if you try to gather, you know that you're intentional about it. You do this. This is the action. If the mind becomes collected on its own, then that's good, but you're actually doing it. Good. What you do is good. Samadhi is really good without doing much. And then your happiness arises, there's just oneness arises. Number 8. I see inside my chest, it's just moving. I feel the space just like a wave. The air becomes like different beats. I see the mind arises and falls away really fast. See the mental fabrications. I see the defilement. I see the body and mind working on its own. Sometimes there's not us, and then the mind becomes awake and become happy. After a while, I see life is full of sufferings, and the mind has the sufferings on its own. Please provide guidance.
ต้องทำความสงบบ้างนะ
You need a little calmness practice. If you do the insight development continuously, it's not good. Come back to do some chanting, to do some meditation, to let the mind rest sometimes. If you're going to do insight practice continuously, you will not make good progress. Your wisdom is good. Need a little calmness, so then the mind gets to rest every once in a while. I used to make a mistake and it just do the insight development continuously, and then it got to see a lot of things, but that's not good. You cannot really eradicate your defilement. You cannot abandon samatha practice. It's necessary to have it. So number 8, you need to do some samatha practice. Number 7, you have a lot of samatha practice. You need to come out and stay with the world outside. That's it for today. I was a bit intense today. I've been a bit intense. Is it a little? Is it a lot? It's not hard. Everything has a cause and effect. Just when you contemplate about it, you think about the enlightenment that the Buddha had, it's so amazing. He has problems and he systematically resolved it step by step. You can go home. If you go home and the oil gets expensive, you just work from home. Listen to Dhamma from home. So then you could save some oil. It may cost 1,000 baht each trip you come here. That's too much. But if you're at home, just bake the mind. Just like when you're at the temple. But it's not good to come to the temple and have the mind just like being at home.